Hi everyone, Dr. Leigh here from Your Vet Online, and sorry I'm a little bit late. I had technical difficulties as per usual. Tonight I'm actually sitting in my lounge. I had to get rid of the flatmate and so that I could do this tonight. So hopefully it's going to work and you can all hear me okay. Anyway, I'm Dr. Leigh from Your Vet Online, and tonight we are going to talk all about those things that's really important to do when it's summer holidays and you're preparing to go away, even if it's only for a night trip. But we've got to remember our pets are part of the family too, and so whether we take them with us or whether we leave them at home, we do need to have a plan. So at the moment, what I'll talk about tonight is we'll go through the number one piece of massively important advice that I think you'll all love will be, hey Shannon, we'll actually be having a plan and a download that you can give to whoever your pet sitter is. And you can also give it to your veterinarian and anyone else, whether it's a pet sitter, the family friend, or whoever. But it's got all those details you need them to know about your pet. So that's the number one thing that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, because I think that's absolutely the most important thing that you need to be prepared for the summer holidays. And then we'll briefly go over a few things that just to be aware of in summertime. So we've got our, I'll talk to you a little bit about tick paralysis and how we've got to be careful with that. We'll talk a little bit about organising, making sure that you have got all your things like your poisonous plants and Christmas decorations and food and all that sort of stuff is kept well out of the way. I've got a little list here. What else have we got here? We've got heat stress. So we'll go over a little bit about that because that's really common for the southern hemisphere, not so much for our northern hemisphere friends. So anyway, it looks like we've got Shannon here. That's great. Hopefully a few more will join in. If you're watching, I'd love to hear if you guys are going away for Christmas or in January, if you've got plans. So give me a big yes if you're planning to go away, and then I can sort of know a little bit about what else to talk about. All right then, so let's get right to it. So one of the most important things that I see as a veterinarian all the time is when people go away and they haven't made a plan for what they're going to do or what their pet sitter is going to do if there's a problem, and it's usually a medical problem. So I find it really, really frustrating as a veterinarian because often we have no way of contacting the person. Sometimes even the pet sitter has poor reachability, all that sort of thing. So it can be really, really, really hard to get organised and be able to do the treatments that you need to do. Now, this isn't just for vets. This is really good idea for, yes, yay, Timo. So yeah, it's good for anybody. And so the list that I've actually got a downloadable for you, and in that downloadable we put all your details. So you're going to have your own details, you're going to have the pet's details, and we go into quite a lot of depth. So there's going to be things like what its medications it might be on, what health problems he might have, food that he likes, food that he doesn't like, food that he's definitely not allowed, because you've always got to remember there are dogs and cats out there that actually can't have some food. You know, it might be because they've got allergies, it might be because they get pancreatitis and it flares up if they've given something like ham or something fatty like bacon. So it's always a good idea to write all these things down. And one of the most important things that I think as a pet owner that you can do is to have a plan for what happens when you can't be contacted and your animal has a really, really serious disease or accident. And everyone needs to know what your wishes will be. So in this little downloadable, what I've done is I've got an area there that says how much money you're prepared to spend on that pet and what to do if it's a life or death situation, and how much money you want to spend on it. Because honestly, it's really hard as a veterinarian to make that decision, and oh my gosh, it is even super and worse for the pet sitter, because they really struggle. Even if it's a family member, trying to decide how far to go in that sort of situation is really, really tough on them. So I hope that you all will download this this little downloadable PDF that I've got. You can fill it all out, but even if you don't, always make sure that you tell people what your wishes are. Does anyone have any questions about that? Like, I mean, I think it's something that not enough people do. We often, in emergency in particular, we get these animals come in and it's the family friend or it's a neighbour. No one even knows who the normal vet is. So it can be really, really hard to actually get that those details, especially if you're gone somewhere and there's no reception and we just can't get through to you. So please consider that. That is like so important, it's not funny. The other thing to think of is, because we all do this, I know I'm terrible at it, but we all leave things to the last minute. So this week, I want you all to go and make sure that your animals are up to date with their vaccinations, have got their flea, worm and tick and parasitic control all sorted. You have enough medications for the whole trip and for all like the public holidays and things. Because one thing you might not realize is that veterinarians can't fill a script from another veterinarian. It's just against the law. Pharmacists are the only ones that can do that. And it's really frustrating for us, guys. Like, I can tell you, it's not the greatest law in the world. I would love to change that law, because what it means is that if your dog or cat is on a medication that is an animal medication, you might not be able to get it. So please go and check everything now. Make sure that you don't get stuck when it's a public holiday and you don't have medications. And I'm talking about things like your diabetes, your insulin injections. I'm talking about heart medications, anti-arthritis medications. So please, guys, the best thing you can do now is make that appointment with your veterinarian. Pop in, make sure all your vaccinations are up to date. So if your pet does all of a sudden have to go into a kennel or a cattery, at least they are covered and there's no problems with that. And you might even think about having a deal with your vet. Maybe you'll leave a credit card details on file. Maybe you'll say to them and put it in writing how much you're prepared to spend on your pet if they can't be contacted, well, if you can't be contacted, because yeah, as I said earlier, that's one of the biggies. Another big one on my little list is to make sure that your microchip details are up to date in the registry. That's another huge thing that we always have major issues with, and I just wish people, please, make sure if you move house, if you move flats, whatever, or if you get a new phone, please update your pet's details in the registry, because it is so frustrating and we don't want to see situations where your pet ends up going to the pound. That's just not nice. So please, if you can do that, at least if they go walkabout, and we can, you know, vets can get hold of you. There's, you know, the pound could get hold of you. Wherever the animal ends up, at least you're contactable. So that's a biggie. Right. So when you go away, let's just think of things that you need to think about. And I'm not even talking for a big long trip. It could be just a night away. Make sure you've got enough food for your pet. And you want to take a bowl so that you can actually give them water on the trip. You want to make sure that you carry water with you. Some animals, and actually this is quite particular to, sometimes cats are a bit funny like this. Actually, horses can be really funny. They like their own water. And I mean, I know I do. Like, I'm a bit of a water snob. And so if the house water tastes like chlorine, like, I'm not going to drink it. I have to go and find some bottled stuff. So yeah, your animals are actually the same. So perhaps fill up some big containers of water and take those with you. If you're going hiking and that's, you know, walking and stuff with your dogs, make sure that you've got water for that hike. Lots of places just do not have anywhere that you can stop, you know, no streams or anything like that. And especially in around Australia, it's dry. So yeah, definitely remember that. That also brings us up to the topic of heat stress. Now, heat stress kills. So always remember, don't keep your dog or your cat, especially even if you're going somewhere and you've got your cat inside the car as well. Horses, everything, but dogs in particular, don't leave them in the car with the windows, even if you have them down a little bit. Sometimes it just heats up so quickly. And also, I know some people think that they can run the aircon, and they can have the aircon running and they have two sets of car keys, but the car's not moving and the fans are going, but the aircon, it's not cold, guys. Like, unless my car is really shit, but it's never cold. So so I honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's just my car. I have got a really old car, so it could be just my car. But I've been really, really careful about relying on your aircon if the car is stationary and it hasn't got the motor running, because I don't think that's going to help one iota. So, and the other thing with heat stress, I'm actually going to do I've actually got a little video about it, so I'll put that up on my page. So come back to the page and we'll go through all the signs that you will, can look at to understand exactly when you have to do something and what the first things you have to do are. But in essence, if your animal is showing signs of heat stress, meaning it's huffing, it's puffing, it can't get up, maybe it's collapsed, maybe its gums are all red and its tongue is really red, and I'm talking like my shirt, then it's danger time. And a bit of vomit, a bit of diarrhea, your pet is in trouble. So you need to cool the animal down immediately. So if you're at home, just put it in the shower, get some of the cold water all over it, especially underneath its belly, get it completely drenched. If you're outside and you're near a hose, you can use the hose, but guys, just don't forget that that hose is in the sunlight. So sometimes that can be absolutely boiling water, and you have to be really, really careful that that it doesn't come out like scorching, because hey, well, you're just going to burn your dog. So just be careful with a hose. I just usually try and get inside somewhere. Like, even if you're at the shops, just get a bucket of water and just bring it out and put it over your dog. Then you're going to have to carry it and get it into the car, and you're going to hightail it to the vet, whether that's an emergency centre or your regular vet. And don't try and handle this at home. These dogs don't survive if you don't get medical attention. And unfortunately, even with medical attention, some still die. So it is really, really, really serious stuff. So yeah, I just want you to be aware of that and just think about that so that you don't get caught short with a dog that is heat stressed. The other big thing to remember when you are traveling is that sometimes you might travel into an area that hasn't got the same bugs and nasties as your area. And I guess the big thing that we're talking about here is the paralysis tick. So this might be especially relevant for people that might be traveling from, say, South Australia or Melbourne into New South Wales. Yeah, so I just really want people to be really clear that, and it can even be like if you've got your little dog that you have in your apartment all the time and you're around inner city, say Darlinghurst or something like that, and you don't really go anywhere and your tick prevention might be a bit lapsy. Well, if you then go to the Central Coast or down south for a beach holiday, well, there are a lot of ticks. So just be absolutely careful. You know, we don't want you having problems with a dog or a cat with tick paralysis. So really, really important, guys. There are heaps of products out there. We've got things like Bravecto, we've got NexGuard. Cats, you're going to have to probably use Frontline Plus. Cats, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Just make sure that you're always, whether it's a dog or a cat, that every night you make it a routine. You might be sitting by the campfire, or you might be sitting in front of the TV at home. Always run your hands over your whole dog. Like, get right up around their eyelashes, around their eyebrows, get inside their ears, between their toes. The ticks get stuck in between their toes. Right, just absolutely everywhere. I've actually seen ticks in the little lip crease, like just the little ones in the little lips. They're little shits. They hide, and it can be really frustrating. So make sure that you definitely examine your animals every single night. I know that seems overboard, but you know what? One of the most horrific times of my career has actually been having to put to sleep really healthy, beautiful pets because they're paralyzed and they need to go on a ventilator and owners can't afford it. And when that happens, oh my God, it is so sad. And I actually have one case that, I feel like crying now because it was the saddest thing ever. It was a little old lady, and it was this little Maltese, and he was only 2 years old, and she's a pensioner, and she couldn't afford ventilation. And you know, tick prevention is super cheap when it comes down to it. You know, what's $100 a year versus, well, for a smaller dog maybe, versus $3,000 a day on a ventilator, and some of these dogs might need to be on a ventilator for 2 or 3 days. So yeah, anyways, that's my little tearful thing. So yeah, please, if I can get all you Australians at least, I know there's others from New Zealand tuning in and stuff, and you don't have tick paralysis, so you're just lucky. But yeah, please, if you're living in a tick area or you're going to go traveling somewhere where there are ticks, please, 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 just get prevention happening. If you have any questions about that, you can definitely flick us a message and we'll help you choose a product that might suit you best. Lots of vets have got the products. You can get it from, there's lots of online stores as well. So we're always more than willing to give you advice about that. Yeah. But righty-ho, what else is on my little list? Because I don't want to, I think we might even be there. Has anyone got any questions? Oh, Shannon, thank you. That's so nice. Yeah. Oh, okay. So now just a little thing about Christmas. Just remember that you've got pets that are inquisitive, pets that have a great nose, so they get into stuff. So you might be thinking, oh great, we'll just you know, your rubbish and all that sort of stuff. Just remember, keep things with closed lids. You don't want your dog going, or your cat going through the rubbish and getting a bone, you know, a cooked bone stuck in their esophagus and leading to, again, a vet visit. Fish hooks. Be really careful about fish hooks. Oh, and actually, hot tip with fish hooks, if you do have one, you know, see a dog that has swallowed a fish hook, or you've got a cat that swallowed a fish hook, and you've still got the piece of nylon, tie the nylon to a collar. Even if you have to just make a temporary collar with a piece of string or something, just tie it there so then it doesn't go all the way down, and get to the vet. Like, and generally speaking, you're going to have to go to an emergency vet because you probably will have to get it out via a scope. But yeah, let me see, what do we got here? Mel, what happens if there is an after hours health problem and the sitter has to take the pet to an emergency vet and the pet's medical details aren't on file? Is there a way for vets to share one big database in New South Wales? Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah, simple answer is no. Look, that's why I've made this downloadable, because it gives you the opportunity. You can even go to your vet and clip the relevant vet history to it if you want to, or you can just write out, you know, my dog has got Cushing's, it's getting this medication and it's getting it XYZ time of the day. You know, my cat's got diabetes, I only give it this food, it must be fed at this time. You know, all that sort of stuff. That's what's on this piece of paper. And it means that exactly what your question is about. It means that if your pet sitter has worries and concerns, they've got that information in their hot little hand, and they can go to whichever veterinarian is open and they're able to get into and have that care. Now, this also goes to, you know, as we were talking before about money. That's why it's really important for the, you know, the pet carer to have know how much they can spend. So all those details are on the on that downloadable, which I'll give you the link before. I'm having trouble multitasking, actually. I'll see if I can do it. I'm a bit rubbish at this sort of thing. Sorry, guys. What am I doing? Here is the link. And did that even come up? Hope so. Anyway, so that's the link to the downloadable, and you can write all your everything that you need in there. I'll pin it, and we'll hopefully that will. Cool. Okay. Oh dear. If I pin it, I can't see anything else. It's really annoying this sometimes. Bear with me. I'm just going to unpin it if I know how to. Oh dear. Okay, I've missed the other comment from the person above Shannon, but Shannon's asking, I'm worried about fireworks when I'm not here. My little dog gets very anxious and no one will be here. I have a dog sitter, but they can't stay with him. What can I do to help him? Oh dear. Okay, Shannon, did you look at did you hear and listen to us last week when we talked about thunder and lightning phobia? Because that's a lot of the stuff in there is actually highly relevant for that question. What I'll do, because I can't multitask, I will pop a link under your comment after I've finished this, and then you can go and have a listen to that. Oh gosh, what's going on here? Oh, it might be just slow. And then you can go across and have a look. And yeah, there's lots of things that we can do to help you. So yeah, I'll definitely help you out on that one. And if I unpin this now, I might be able to go back up. I hate this. I don't know why. It doesn't let me. I wonder if I look at my phone. Oh, anyway. Sorry, guys. If you want to say, oh, okay, Lisa, yes. Worried about toxic nature of some tick preventers. Are some better than others and less toxic? Oh, look, Lisa, all the tick preventers I would use on my child. That's how safe they are. Look, not that I actually have children, mind you, but they are so safe. Now, any drug, even water, can have a reaction. So, you know, you do hear these stories and things, and one of the things that you've always also got to understand is the whole correlation and causation thing. So just because I flew in the air yesterday and drank orange juice on the plane, and today I had diarrhea, was it the fact that I drank orange juice? Was it the fact that I flew in a plane? Correlation, causation. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stories out there that we really that are really just very, very sad, but whether they're actually caused by the product, I think a lot of times animals have got something like smoldering happening, like they might have cancer, they might have pancreatitis that's just starting, they have all these things, and it just happens that an owner gives them a medication, and before you know it, their symptoms have got a lot worse, and so you relate it to that medication. Now, I'm definitely not saying that's always the case, because there are some animals that are going to have problems with certain medications. So, for example, it's no different than us when, you know, some people are allergic to penicillin. You don't know until you try, and that's the other problem. So pretty much I'm not really too concerned about toxicity with any of these drugs. The studies that they have to do are huge, absolutely huge. Now, I will say that there's things like that dichotomous, whatever it is, earth stuff, and people are trying to say use that for flea prevention. What a load of rubbish, absolute rubbish. So don't get caught up because something is being touted as being natural, because it just doesn't work. And especially when it comes to tick prevention, I mean, all very well and good. Fleas, unless you are a tiny small animal or you've got a burden that is horrific, it's not going to kill you. Ticks do. So please just use something that has been designed and has had the studies behind it. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to have ticks and your animal might die. I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer on that one, but really, yeah, there's not too much else to it. Anyways, that's probably about us for tonight. Absolutely loved talking to you all. I hope you got some benefit from this. If you liked it, make sure you share it with your friends, because there are definitely some, you know, good, well, I think there's some good tips in here. I really do rate my downloadable, and of course I'm going to say that. However, I just see so many problems, so please download it. Please get your friends to download it. I don't want to hear stories, and I don't want to be working this Christmas and have a situation where animals, you know, we can't find their owners, we don't know how much to spend on them. Oh, so yeah, please download that. And yeah, have a really good Christmas if I don't see you. But we'll be back next Tuesday. This is going to be a regular feature. If you've got ideas for me, let me know, because I was thinking I might talk about itchy dogs next week, or itchy cats. Maybe that's a good one. I don't know. We've got to do some horse ones too for the horsey peeps. So yeah, love to hear what your what topics and things that you want me to talk about. So if you've got any ideas, just pop them in the comments below, because of course we're going to have 52 Tuesdays next year, so we can definitely do some more of these and get your topic in. Anyways, hope you guys have a good one. I'm going to go and eat my dinner. I'm absolutely starving, and we'll catch you next week. See ya.